Okay, the next step was going to be putting the strings on, but while I was getting ready to do that, Amazon dropped off the strap buttons I was waiting for. So I'd like to give this guitar with a strap button attached to it, and the regular minis don't come with a strap button. So what I've done to prepare for that is put 2 pieces of masking tape along the seam of the wood. So you can see where the guitar attaches together. It's multiple pieces of wood. And then I have measured, this is exactly 3 inches wide. So right in the half of there, 1.5 inches, I put a dot on both sides of that seam so that I know where the center is. That's where I would like to put my strap button. And I'm going to start my pre-work before I drill. So on PBS, back in the day, I would watch this wonderful show called Handy Ma'am. And this lady did a bunch of really wonderful projects, you know, how to put shelves up in your closet, how to make all kinds of things that you might be interested in. So one of the things she would always say before she got started drilling was, ladies, use your awls. So I have an owl in honor of her advice, and that's what I use to get my starter holes going. So I'm right in the center. Now I'm going to use my owl to get my starter hole. Okay, and that's just to keep the drill from spinning, so when I start the hole, I don't end up wrecking the instrument. I don't know if you'll be able to see the hole. Or the owl imprint there, that little dimple, and get me in the right place. I want the instrument to be nice and steady. So at the top here, where you might not be able to see, I have just taken a little placemat. Use a towel or whatever to get the exact height of the instrument. My instrument pad here is a little too high to keep it flat. The other thing I want to do is make sure in my collection of bits, I pick one that mirrors the nails. I'm guilty of always making the hole just a little too small, so I'm going to try to do better this time. I think I've got a good match here at the 5 6/4. Unfortunately, the strap buttons do not come with any instructions. All right, so we're going to do a little drilling here. Okay, that looks nice and stable, and the dimple that we made with the owl, we're going to go ahead and drill. Okay, so I'm testing the hole, and I am once again wrong. That looks like it is too tight. We don't want to go crazy trying to put that in, so we're changing the drill bit. So Handy Ma'am is still my hero, but I don't think I have lived up to her standards with this hole drilling, because I am just like really obsessed with making the holes too small, it would seem. All right, we're going to give it another shot. And again, I'm holding the instrument down so that it's flat. That's all I'm trying to do. Keep it steady and flat so that I go straight. So on these smaller instruments, this little piece of wood in the back is not very thick. It's not very deep. Okay, so first I'll show you the hole before I take it up. So there. Now we're going to put together our strap button and screw it in there. So I have my button. First thing I do is take, it comes in pieces. So the screw goes through the center of the button, and then underneath that little connection is going to go that the washer, that little felt. It's beautiful. And now we're going to just go ahead and screw that guy in. Okay, everything I have here is really dark, so it was kind of hard to see. So now I have returned with a paper towel here that's white, so you can see the screw. It's sitting in the hole. I'm going to take this other piece of tape off. I think I'm pretty good to go. And again, I'm using that to make sure I'm in the right place, protect the wood, in case I slip. When I'm using the drill, if I slip, I don't want to leave a divot on the wood. So here we go. We're just going to screw her in. Again, I want to hold Wow, this is probably the best match to a hole that I have done. I'm not having to struggle with this, yet it feels nice and secure. That is beautiful. I love that. Looks a little more silver than gunmetal though once it's in there. What do you guys think? It's still beautiful though. The last little touch here. I am not overly thrilled with how sharp that nail feels. The screw itself. I'm going to take a little piece of sandpaper here. Going to make that not be sharp. So what I'm doing here, what I didn't like is, you know, I got these little fashion buttons. And so the fashion button leaves the nail exposed, the screw itself. And that has not been sanded down by the manufacturer. They're not liking the way that feels. Much better, but not where I want it yet. Let's see. Happy with that. Quick summary of what we just did installing this button on the bottom. We start off with 2 pieces of masking tape, put them on either side of the seam where the pieces of wood join together at the bottom of your instrument. That's so that you protect the wood when you're doing your drilling, and so that you can also see the line where you want to drill. You do a measurement of the end-to-end width, divide that in half to get the center of your instrument, mark your masking tape with a little pencil mark on either side of where you're going to make that hole. Put your owl on the place where you want to start your drilling, tap it in there to make a divot so that you do not slide when you're drilling in there with your drill bit. Do the best you can to eyeball the size of the nail that you're going to use, and always err on the side of a smaller hole. After you've drilled your initial pilot hole, you test the nail. If it seems like it's a little too tight, then go to the next size bit, which is what you saw me do here. Drill through, and then you should be good to go. Hand drill or hand screw in the actual screw so that you don't over tighten it or stress the wood, especially on these smaller instruments. The last step that we had to do, the button style that I used, because the screw was on the outside, you could actually feel it and see it. It was sharp, so I sanded that down. The other option that you have is the type that you will see here. And this, in this case, this particular style, the nail is recessed, or it goes deeply into the button. You never feel it or touch it with your hands. All right, our strap button installation is complete. Next, we're going to put on a set of fresh strings.